Hi guys, so my name is Mac Towers and I'm going to be talking about the effect of peer pressure on students. Peers influence your life whether in a positive way or a negative way just by spending time with you. You learn from them and they learn from you, and it's only human nature to listen and learn from other people in your age group. Peers sometimes can have a positive influence on each other. Maybe a student in your science class taught you how to memorize the solar system, or someone helped you learn how to play a sport. These are examples of how you can be positively influenced. You can also be negatively influenced. A large number of vices such as smoking, drinking, becoming a drug addict are cultivated when teenagers blindly follow their peers and what their peers become involved in due to some sort of family relation, or a number of things, honestly. In a sense, you lose your identity because you're trying to become that person. You're trying to learn everything from that person, and you're abandoning all your beliefs. Peers play a huge role in the social and emotional development of children and adolescents. Their influence begins at an early age and rises through the teenage years. It's a natural and healthy and important thing for children to have and rely on friends as they grow in the future. However, certain friends can be detrimental to their future. For example, 30% of students are pressured to do drugs in middle school and high school. Most of us are 11 to 15 when we enter middle school and high school. We're still children ourselves. Yes, everyone around us pushes us to perform adult activities. I personally know at least 10 to 15 teenagers who have thrown their bright future away on drugs or alcohol just because they got in with the wrong people, or their family did it when they were their age, so why can't they do it now? They just kind of think of it as a rite of passage. There's also the being forced into sexual acts because all of your friends are doing it, or telling you need to experience this is the best thing of your life, and then not having it reflect what everyone's been telling you. Another example is that 67% of teens are pressured to dress a certain way, to look a certain way, to be presentable to certain males or females or whatever person they're going for. Whether they're pressured to put on more clothing or pressured to take it off by abusive, controlling boyfriends, or by friends who don't really care about what's beneficial to their other friend. Women are sexualized at a very young age. Sometimes they also have friends who tempt them into, wearing less by calling them a prude or insinuating that there's something different about their sexuality because they're not expressing it through provocative clothing, which is something that shouldn't be happening. Another fact is that 44% of teens are pressured to lie, steal, or cheat. The three bad things. Many teens are talked into lying by their friends or taught to steal by their parents. They can also be convinced to allow cheating or perform the act of cheating by their peers, because cool kids don't need to know this, and sometimes peers influence each other in negative ways, or like a kid trying to get you out of class with them, your friend trying to convince you to be mean to another player on your team, or a kid in a neighborhood asking you to, oh, no big deal, we'll just go shoplift from the mainstream store, which is not something we should be letting our kids experience. Some kids give in to peer pressure because they want to be liked, or they want to fit in, or they don't want to worry about that other kids might make fun of them, or they don't know what they'll do if they don't go along with the group. Others go along because they're curious to try something new that others are doing. All my peers are doing it. Why can't I do it? It's because they're not well informed on what can actually happen after these acts occur. The idea that everyone's doing it can influence some kids to leave their better judgment and their common sense behind. We need to make teenagers feel like they're safe and they're able to say no when this situation arises. even children often give in to peer pressure because they feel like they have no other option. They feel like it's yes or yes. They don't feel like there's a yes or no. They don't feel like there's a yes or a no, gotta go guys, because then you look like you're like the outcast of the group in that situation. We have to let kids know that it's not all or nothing and suggest ways to compromise with it. Confident kids are much less likely to give in to their classmates because they're confident in their decisions. They're confident in what they know is the best thing to do. We need to make all kids aware of the types of situations they'll be put in and practice them thoroughly just to introduce something to them so that their first instinct isn't to go, okay, I want you to be my friend, I'll do this with you, or second guess their own opinions. Every teen handles peer pressure differently, and it's important for teens to learn to deal with peer pressure on their own, not have to have someone stand up for them every single time, because you don't always know if that person's going to be there when another situation arises. Too many times a teen is put on the spot and doesn't know how to get out of the situation. Like, for instance, if you're at a party and your friends are all drinking, and which I've personally experienced also, and you just feel uncomfortable. I mean, they don't know that there's a way out. There's a way to leave the situation without being the loser or the outcast. So yeah, I also think we should teach them to avoid the peers that they struggle with. I know once you hit the situation, there's no way to get out of it and just say, okay, I don't want to be friends, but we need to teach them to choose the right people, to pick the right crowd to hang around with so that it doesn't later on affect them. No is something we really need to teach. I know they say just say no, and I know when these situations arise, there isn't always an option to say no, but you can always find some way around it. Parents can also help by recognizing when their child's having problems. You should encourage them to be open and honest with you so that you know you have that line of communication in case anything does go wrong for some reason. You need to teach your child to be assertive and say no. I know no, like I said, is hard to say sometimes, but they need to resist getting involved in these activities so that they don't hurt themselves and possibly others. Get to know your child's friend. That is a very important one. I know, for example, my parents don't let me go over and spend the night with just any person. They'd like to meet their parents and their friends, and they like to have the address of where I'm going, and they keep in contact with me. You also need to help your child develop self-confidence, because confident kids are the ones who are confident in their life decisions. They're confident and able to say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt my body like that. Or, no, I don't want you to take advantage of me, or no. Things like that. Kids who feel good about themselves are less vulnerable to the peer pressure. And also develop backup plans to help get your kids out of uncomfortable situations. Like, let them know you'll always come get them, which I've also had my parents tell me is if I'm ever either intoxicated or uncomfortable, they would always be willing to come get me out of a sticky situation. So, yeah.